All right, first and foremost, give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who rule well and who is worthy to be counted for double honors. And peace and salutations to you brothers out there pushing the truth wholeheartedly and sincerely and for love of the gospel. It's the brother Gabari from the Indiana camp. Come back at you again, one of the sit down to basically talk about. I got this comment on my video that I did, I think 7 years ago or something. Yeah, it's about 7 years ago. I did a video called "The So-Called White People are Edomites, Not Japhet." All right, it was back then. It was a big controversy. You know, a lot of Jakes. You know, yeah, people actually call themselves Israelites. Thought that the so-called white people that you see are what were Japhites. All right, one of the sons of Noah. All right, and not Edomites. All right, and they believe that the Edomites are basically Middle Eastern Arabs. All right. So I just got a recent comment, as you see, this guy right here, Ben Yehuda. Basically he commented up under and said false doctrine, you know. And then you guys, you see the other comments, they was years ago. It says, love how the first image was Obama and not white men. You got it all wrong. Japhet is white, you know, saying, you know, basically it's just addressing, you know, that the so-called white people are Edomites, you know. I told him, I was like, listen, you know, how about you make a video and you prove me wrong, you know? And of course he's not going to do it, you know. He isn't going to do it, you know. I'm just basically making this video to reassure, to reprove, because it's been a minute since I actually hit this topic, that the so-called Japhites are not the so-called white people. All right, and we can actually go through the scriptures and prove that the so-called white people trace back to the so-called trace back to Esau, Edom. All right, we can go through the scriptures and prove this. All right, and that's exactly what I'm about to do right now. All right, so all right, here I got a line of scriptures laid out. So without further ado, let's hop straight into it. This is Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go straight to the verse. I'm gonna use just that as a list. And I'm gonna go straight to the verse. Salaki. Oh, fuck, I passed it. This is Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1. It says, and it happened after Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim. But see, the point is right here, I was getting this, is to show that Alexander, and this is the Alexander the Great, son of Philip the Macedonian. So we'll call his father a Macedonian. All right. Now, we all know how Alexander the Great looked like, but let's just clarification. Let's just get something right quick. This is Alexander the Great. He was an Edomite. He was the ruler of the Greek Empire. All right. He was the one who took down the Persians and Medes within like 12 years. All right. So we understand what he looks like. We understand his father was what? Philip II of Macedon. All right. This was an Edomite. This was the Edomite that took down the Persian Medes and set up the Greek Empire. All right. That was written about in the scriptures. Okay. So we understand the Greeks were who? The Greeks were Edomites, man. That was Esau's first rulership and power. All right. And then they came back as the Romans. All right. So the Edomites were known as the Greeks and the Romans. All right. So we understand that Alexander, son of Philip, was a Macedonian. He come from what? Macedon, right? Now we have Esther 16 and 10. It says, for Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Amadiah, being indeed a stranger from Persia's blood and far distance from our goodness, and a stranger receive us. So it says Ammon, a Macedonian, the son of Amadiah. So now we understand that Ammon is a Macedonian too. Now Ammon is our main character, so we understand that Philip was a Macedonian, and Ammon, which real name is Haman, but Ammon was a Macedonian. All right. So now let's go ahead and get Esther 3 and 10. All right. So now we got what? We understood that Ammon was a Macedonian. Philip the second was a Macedonian, and Philip was the father of Alexander the Great. So if Alexander the Great, which is a known Edomite, which is a known white person, is known all around the world for being a white person. His father was from a Macedonian, and now we're going to read about a Macedonian. All right. So what did I say? 3 and 10. These chapters are weird. All right. So it says what? This is Esther chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, and the king took his ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, the son of Hamadiah, the same person, the Agite, the Jews' enemy. See? So now we understand that what Haman, which is real name, which is Ammon, the son of Hamadiah, the same person. So this is the same person. It says the Agite. All right. So that brings up a question. What's an Agite? All right. So let's go to 1 Samuel 15 and 7. All right. So this is 1 Samuel 15 and verse 7. It says, and Saul smote the Amalekites from Haval unto the comers to shore, that it over against Egypt, and he took Agite, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and it says, and utterly destroyed all the people and with the edge of the sword. So the Agites come from Agai. All right. And he was the king of who? What? The Amalekites. All right. Now, who are the Amalekites? All right. Who are the Amalekites? If you never read the scriptures before, the Amalekites is a grandson of somebody significant. All right. So now let's. All right. So now let's look up. Now, Agag was what? The king of the Amalekites. All right. So the Agites are everybody that comes from Agag. And if Agag was the king of the Amalekites, that means Agag was an Amalekite himself. All right. So now let's get to Genesis 36 and 1. So it's basically we're going through a line. All right. So we started from who? What? We started from Alexander the Great, which is a known white person in history. His father was Philip II from Macedon. All right. So we understand what they come from Macedon. Now we venture over to Haman. Haman was also from Macedon. The people from Macedon come from the Agites. The people from Agites come from Agag. Agag was king of the Amalekites. Amalekites. Now we finna figure out who was the Amalekites. All right. What did I say? Genesis 36 and 1. It says, now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. All right. So let's skip down to the point where I need to get, which is 10. It says, these are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adai, the wife of Esau; Roel, the son of Bashamath, the wife of Esau. It says, and the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zippor, Gitam, Kiznaz, and Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son. She bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adai, Esau's wife. See, so Amalekite is what? A grandson of Esau. All right. So Amalekites. So if you come from so an Amalekite is the grandson of Esau. Guess who the Amalekites guess who the Amalekites goes back to? So-called white people, man. It's not rocket science. Macedon goes Macedon goes to Macedon goes to Agag. Agag goes to the Amalekites. Amalekite goes to back to Esau. You see how I did that? I gave you the scriptures, word for word. You get Maccabees 1 and 1. You read about Alexander the Great. You read about how they come from Macedon. Then you go to Esther 16 and 10. You read about Macedon. You read about Haman. Haman was a Macedonian. He was also from who? His father. Now you go back to Esther 3 and 10. You see his father was what? Also an Agite. All right. You read, okay, well, what's an Agite? You go and read Samuel 15 and 7 and 8. You read Agite. The guy Agite, it was the king of the Amalekites. All right. Then you read, okay, well, what's an Amalekite? An Amalekite is what? The grandson, one of the grandsons of Edom, of Esau. All right. So what? A known prominent white person in America, a known prominent white person through history, Alexander the Great, line literally trickles all the way down back to who? Esau, Edom, man. And this is part of the reason why they took out the Apocrypha out of the scriptures, because you can literally trace their line back to Esau, Edom. It's evident, man. You literally can go through the scriptures and see it, verse for verse. So this Japhet being the so-called Edom, no, man, that's not it. Matter of fact, also the scripture says, which I brought this out before. I think I actually brought it out in the in that video. I think I went back to rewatch the video, and I actually brought this out in the video. But it says no, I'm sorry, it's Genesis 27, I believe. This is Genesis chapter 27, verse 34. It says, Esau heard the words of his father. He cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry. It says, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety. It says, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, is he not rightfully named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac has said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him, and it says, and what shall I do now unto thee, my son? It says, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven, and the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shall thou live, and shall serve thy brother. See? So guess what? This man, lives by the sword. This is the blessing that Isaac, his father, gave Esau. That the sword, the killing instrument, is going to be the way he lives. All right. Now, let me ask you a question. What is the number one nation that has the most missiles in the world? Who has the most nuclear weapons? Russia. Russia has the most nuclear weapons in the world with over 55 warheads. See, Russia has 5,000 missiles. And guess who's right behind them? America with 500 less than them. Then what's the other countries? China has 500. France has 290. United Kingdom has about 1.8 of New. See, everybody else has their own, but it's nowhere near Russia, which is what ran by Edomites, and United States, which is what ran by Edomites. Where do you see the Middle East in somewhere in there? Where do you see the Middle Easterns? So if the blessing was to Esau that he was going to live by the sword, why does Russia and America have over 5,000 missiles, man? Because what? That's their blessing. They're Edomites. They're two Edomite nations, man. Their blessing was to live by the sword. So guess what? They is this not proof enough that they're living by the sword? To have over 5,000 missiles? Come on now. And to not even, and listen, everybody else is not even remotely close. China has 500 missiles. They're the only ones that's close to America, and they're being blown out the water by over 4,500 more missiles than them. 4,500 more missiles than China. All right? And Russia and China is still about a good 500 missiles away from each other. But they still are the only countries that have 5,000 missiles, man. They're the only country upon the planet Earth that has 5,000 missiles. That's about 10,000 missiles between both of both of them, man. But two Edomite countries, it's 10,000 missiles between both of them. You can't sit here and tell me that these people are not Edomites, man. You can't sit here and tell me you cannot convince me that so-called white people are not Edomites. They live by the sword and they die by the sword. All right. So, man, hey, to answer this guy's question right here, man, Paul, hey, man, you got it wrong, my man. You got it wrong. This isn't false doctrine. All right. You can go through the scriptures. I gave you all the scriptures I read. You can look up yourself. What nations has the most guns? What nations has been in the most war? It's all gonna come back to the so-called white man. All right. They're the ones who's ruling the world right now, and they're ruling it with what? Through war, man. Why have you think ever since basically he's come into power, it's always been about war? You know, it's always about war. Russia's in war right now. America's on the brink of war. All right. So I don't know where you're getting your information from, Paul, man, but you need to reevaluate yourself. You know, you need to reevaluate yourself. You need to really consider about what you consider false doctrine and sound doctrine. All right. But I ain't gonna hammer the point no longer on, man. Lord willing, I hope this video was edifying for you brothers out there. Until next time, shalom.